Hello, welcome to our channel, and in this episode I am discussing the developments for wave atomic model. In my previous episode I have already discussed that Bohr was not able to explain line spectrum for multi-electron atoms. In a process of overcoming drawback of Bohr's atomic model, Louis de Broglie proposed a new concept of dual characteristic of matter. So let's meet after a short break to understand what is dual characteristic of matter. Welcome back. So Louis de Broglie proposed that macroscopic particles like cricket ball, football, and some microscopic particles like photons, electrons, protons, neutrons can behave like wave. And this phenomena of particle behaving as a wave is termed as matter waves or de Broglie wave. Now, according to Einstein equation, E is equal to mc square, that is energy is product of mass and velocity. Similarly, energy can also be calculated using Planck's equation. Now, say if I am considering a photon, so it would have a mass and it would also have a frequency, isn't it? It is having mass and it is having frequency. So if I use this mass and calculate energy associated using this equation, I can calculate energy associated with that photon. Similarly, if I use the frequency of the photon and calculate the energy associated with the photon, so I can use the Planck's equation, isn't it? So now calculating energy for same particle by two different equations, the energy associated should be same, isn't it? The energy would be same. So now we can equate both the equations. So mc square would be equal to h nu, but we know nu is c by lambda. So substituting this value, so this is mc square would be h c by lambda. So I can write mc is equal to h by lambda, or lambda would be h over m into c. So for a photon, I can calculate the wavelength associated or the matter waves associated with the photon, or it is de Broglie wave equation. So if I want to calculate for an electron, then electron, if it is not moving with velocity of light, so I can change with the velocity of electron. So it would be lambda is h over m into v. So if I know the velocity of a particle and mass of the particle, then I can calculate the wavelength associated with that particle. So this equation was applicable for both macroscopic and microscopic particles. So summing up on your screen, you can see definition of matter waves and the formula for calculating wavelength of photon, and if velocity of an electron or proton is known, then the formula for calculating wavelength associated with electron proton. You can pause a video and jot it down, or you can take a snapshot. Now let's try to find out what is the signification of this formula. Lambda is h over m into v. Say I am considering two particles, an electron which is having mass 9.11 into 10 raised to power minus 31 kg, and second, a particle which is having mass of say 0.1 kg. Now both the particles are traveling with velocity of 70 kilometers per hour, or it can be converted into say 20 meters per second. So if I use this equation for calculating the wavelength, so in case of electron, say I am using an approximate mass which is say 10 raised to power minus 30 kg. So it is 6.63 into 10 raised to power minus 34 divided by 10 raised to power minus 30 into 20. So solving this, I will get 3.315 into 10 raised to power minus 5, or it is 33.15 into 10 raised to power minus 6 meters, which is, I can write 33 micrometer. So this is the wavelength that is associated with electron if electron is moving with velocity of 20 meters per second. Now if this particle of 0.1 kg is also moving with velocity of 20 meters per second, and I calculate the wavelength for this, so it is 6.63 into 10 raised to power minus 34 divided by 0.1 into 20. Calculating this, I will get 3.315 into 10 raised to power minus 34 meters. Now out of these two values, this is a measurable value, isn't it? This is a measurable value, while this is not a measurable value. So from this we can conclude that this equation, de Broglie wave equation, has significance for microscopic particles, the particles which are very small or are having very less mass. For if this equation is used for those particles, then the wavelength is a measurable wavelength. But if this formula is used for the particles which are having high mass, then the wavelength is not measurable. A conclusion can be drawn that de Broglie wave equation holds true only for microscopic particles which are having very less mass. So summing up, on your screen you can see the significations of de Broglie wave equation, that it holds true only for microscopic particles, the particles which are having very less mass. You can pause a video and jot it down, or you can take a snapshot. Now let's try to understand that electron behave as matter waves. On your screen you can see a figure in which an beam of electron is made incident on the nickel surface, and this beam of electron, when scatters or reflects from this surface and falls on this photographic film, so a diffraction pattern was observed. The concentric rings, you can see the concentric rings. So these concentric rings were characteristic feature of the diffraction pattern, and whenever we have to explain a wave characteristic for any particle, then there are 5 different phenomena which explain the wave characteristic. Those phenomena are reflection, refraction, interference, diffraction, and polarization. So these are the 5 characteristic phenomena which explain the wave characteristic of a particle. So now in this experiment, the beam of electron, when falls on the photographic film, showed a diffraction pattern, and this diffraction pattern was similar to the diffraction pattern which was observed when an X-rays, that are electromagnetic waves, that are made incident on this nickel surface, and a similar diffraction pattern was observed. So because they gave the similar kind of diffraction pattern, the electrons, they gave similar kind of diffraction pattern, so we can say that electrons are behaving as matter waves. So to sum up, on your screen you can see important points of Davison experiments and the characteristic features for the wave characteristic for a particle. You can pause the video, jot it down, or you can take a snapshot. Now let's try to understand if an electron is accelerated through a potential difference, or a charged particle, a proton or any charged particle, if it is accelerated through a potential difference, then how we can calculate its wavelength. Now we know that kinetic energy is given by half mv square, but if it is accelerated through a potential difference, so we can write out EV. E is the charge of particle and V is the potential difference, would be half mv square. Now if I solve this for velocity, so I can write it V is under root of 2 times EV divided by m. So this is our first equation. We can calculate velocity of the particle if we know charge on the particle, potential difference applied across the electrodes, and mass of particle. But now we know that lambda wavelength is given by h over m into v. Now substituting the value of v in this equation, so lambda would be h over m into under root of m over 2 times e into v, isn't it? So now solving this equation, it would be lambda would be h over under root of 2 times mass into charge into potential difference. Now for an electron, if I am calculating it for an electron, so mass of electron is 9.11 into 10 raised to power minus 31 kg, and charge on electron is also fixed. Now substituting the values in this equation, I will get 1.226 into 10 raised to power minus 9 under root of V. This is potential difference in meters. So this would be the wavelength associated with the electron if it is accelerated through a potential difference V. So to summing up, on your screen you can see the formula for calculating velocity of electron through a potential difference V, and a formula for calculating wavelength of electron through a potential difference V. You can pause the video and jot it down, or you can take a snapshot. Now let's try to derive the Bohr postulate, that was for angular momentum with de Broglie wave equation. Say now this is an orbit, and say electron is now behaving like a wave, and it would be moving like this, isn't it? So this is the wave characteristic. Now we know that circumference of the orbit is given by 2 pi r, and it would be basically a simple multiple of wavelength. Now wavelength would be distance between two consecutive crests or troughs. So I can write it like this: 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. But we know that according to de Broglie wave equation, lambda is h over m into v. Substituting the values, so it would be 2 pi r would be n h over mv. So just reshuffling the values, so it is mvr is equal to n h over 2 pi. So now where n is always an integer, and this was the postulate of Bohr that angular momentum for an electron in an orbit in nth orbit is given by h by 2 pi. So to sum up, on your screen you can see the formula for calculating the number of waves associated in an orbit and the Bohr postulate. You can pause the video and jot it down, or you can take a snapshot. So this was all about matter waves. If you want to stay connected with us, then you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. If you haven't subscribed our channel yet, then please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon to get instant notifications. As a student, it's always advisable to practice a lot, isn't it? And if you want to practice more, then you need some practice material, isn't it? So to get practice material, you can follow the link which is on the top of your screen and get material to practice a lot. And you can also get a virtual support. Thanks for watching the video.